All right, guys, Marion Blair here. It's been so cold down here in the south in Louisiana. So cold the other night, it got down to 21 degrees. We had to open up the refrigerator door just to warm the house up. That didn't make no sense. Anyway, I changed out my batteries. Now, I told you in a previous video, I believe, that I had, or somebody asked a question, how many years did I get out of them? And I reported 5. That was a mistake. I apologize. I had 4 years on them. And, you know, my dad once told me, if you get 3 years out of a battery, you can throw it away. And that's proven to be pretty accurate over the years from what I've seen. Now, I know people get, you know, 5, 7, 10 years and stuff out of batteries. I don't know how they do it. I guess it's the heat down here in the south and, you know, in the summertime and stuff. Also, I've been doing a lot of high temperature towing with these batteries. Nonetheless, that's what the deal is. I changed them out. I want to go through with you what I did, how I did it, wrench sizes, some of the tips that might help you. Now, these are Duracell AGMs. They're not top of the line, not bottom of the line. They're made by a reputable manufacturer here in the U.S. I think it's Penn State Manufacturing. They make Decker. They make a lot of golf cart batteries. They make a lot of batteries, so they know what they're doing. But, you know, I'm sure there's better ones. I've heard much better ones. But you pay a lot of money for them, too. A lot more than I paid for these. These were $179 each. That's expensive to me compared to what they were. Now, you can get the lead acid batteries for like $139 or something. But they're not the type with the cap where you can check your fluid, with a hydrometer and check the electrolytes and stuff. So it's kind of like the original OEM batteries. Once they run out of water, you run out of battery, you know. Anyway, let's go take a look at my job here. Now, yeah, Sam will install them for nothing. I don't particularly like, I'd rather do things myself, the things that I can do, and this is one thing I can do. Yeah, it's picking up stuff and it's a lot of work in that sense. But these dual battery systems, everything's pretty tight in there, and I'd prefer to do it myself than. I'm not saying people at Sam's wouldn't do a good job. I think they probably would, but you know, you let one cable arc the wrong way, or you disconnect them the wrong way or something, and you might create a problem that you don't want. So let's go through it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And here we go. Okay, so this is all you need to know about changing your batteries on a dual battery system. This will really apply to any vehicle with 2 batteries. But first, let's go through some of the specifics here of the Ram. Now, these are battery covers that came with the truck. The thing you're going to want to do first is disconnect your negatives, both sides. Go around and disconnect both of them. You got a negative over here too. You want to disconnect that one, and you want to disconnect this one over here. And get those cables out of the way. You can disconnect them right here. This is going to be 10 millimeters right here on the driver's side. Everything on the driver's side is 10 millimeters. Then down here underneath on the bracket, you've got a 10 millimeter also. So this is all 10 millimeter. Over here, for whatever reason, the engineers decided to put 8 millimeter. For the life of me, I don't know why. But you're going to need an 8 millimeter over there. The bracket's still 10 millimeter though. So you remove your grounds, get them out of the way. A good thing to do is tie them up, tie wrap them, bungee cord them, somewhere's out of the way. On the driver's side here, you've got plenty of room. But over on the passenger side, it gets a little tight. Remove both your grounds and then remove both your positives. Positives over here. Now, yeah, you'll probably lose some of your EVIC on your dash. That's your Electronic Vehicle Information Center, if you want to know what that stands for. And but I mean, it's not a big deal to put it back. In the past, I found my radio seems to hold the channels okay, but the EVIC tends to go out first. But it's very easy to set that back up as far as I'm concerned. If that was a problem for you, you could do it changing one at a time, and that would keep your settings. But you'd have to really be careful with this positive, because everything on this truck is ground. Practically everything you touch on this truck, any metal part, is going to be ground. So if that positive cable hits the ground while you're still hooked up over here, because you're still grounded over here, so you can't just do one at a time without knowing that anyway. I'd want to have some kind of big rubber insulator or something to slip over this thing, because when you pull in these batteries out, they really get to moving around and stuff. Anyway, enough with that. So then once you get these cables out of the way, you lift up and get your cover out of the way if you've got a cover on it. And then you can get to your hold down here. You can still get to them probably with the cover, but I always pull the cover. And there's one 10mm bolt on the hold down. Just get rid of that. And then you can remove the battery. And then you come over here and you do the same thing over here. Now you've already removed your positive and your negatives. This, if you look at this big cable right over here, that's just running over to the other positive. So that's why I say doing one at a time is a little bit hazardous. But so you got to be careful if you try that. I don't do it. I pull them both. I don't mind setting up my radio. Last thing I want is some kind of spark or turn one of these batteries into an arc welder, you know. Anyway, I've got my grid heater disconnected, by the way, and I've just got it taped up right here, if you're wondering what that is. So then going back, you do the same thing, and like I said on this one, same procedure as the other one. You've already got these two disconnected, and just pull your cover, pull your hold down, and then going back, same procedure. Make sure you put your cover on before you put your leads on, or you're going to be doing it twice. Ask me how I know. I've done that before. It's easy to do. And then you're pretty much done after that. Wrapping up, you need 10mm, 8mm. You're going to need a long extension. I use 3/8 with the 10mm on. It brings it up to about right here, and then you can. It's very easy though. The clamp is it's not a difficult thing. This battery though is pretty tight in here. Yeah, this cable here, I bungee corded it up against onto the reservoir here, and it's pretty tight. The nice thing about these batteries though, these AGMs, is you can turn them sideways and you won't lose any fluid. They could actually be mounted sideways or any kind of way, because they're not, it's a glass mat it is lead acid, but it's absorbed in the glass mat, so they won't leak. That's why I use them really, because I had a older Cummins, and I had a problem with the one of the batteries leaked and rusted a bunch of the truck and stuff, so I'm going with AGM now. They're a little more expensive, but I guess they're worth it. As far as how long they last, I'm not real sure that it's worth it in that regard. But just knowing that they're probably not going to make as big a mess if they leak is worth it to me. These are 800 cold cranking amp batteries, equivalent to the OEMs. They're Duracell 94R batteries. There you go. Like I said, not top of the line, not bottom of the line. This is the new ones I've already installed. So that's pretty much all you need to know about it. Appreciate you watching my video. Until next time, adios.